Today on the Topping Show, Megan Rapinoe misses the World Cup goal and laughs. Bud Light's founder's grandson slams Anheuser-Busch InBev's choice to partner with Dylan Mulvaney. Trump critiques the U.S. women's soccer team. Elon Musk to pay the legal fees for people who are fired for using Twitter X. Joe Rogan drinks a Bud Light and is critiqued by conservatives. Harry's Razors commercial has a topless biological woman transitioning, shaving her face. NASCAR indefinitely suspends a driver for liking a meme. Barbie movie passes $1 billion in sales. Joe Rogan claims Kari Lake's election appeared to have some fraud, and the media melts down. Democrats put forward legislation to tax AR-15 magazines and rifles at 1,000%. Mercedes to bring back the V8 engine. Dallas-Fort Worth is one of the fastest growing areas in the United States. Berkshire Hathaway reaches a $36 billion profit. Tesla CFO steps down, and Yellow Trucking has confirmed its bankruptcy. All of that and much, much more on The Topic Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topic Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so you can click that button and greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have finally some great automotive news. You have Mercedes bringing back the V8 AMG. Now, recently, their most powerful AMG C-Class, the C63, they decided to trade the iconic hand-built V8 internal combustion engine for a hybridized inline turbo 4 engine. And yeah, to say that's anemic is to say the least. Now, there's nothing wrong with the 4-cylinder engine. My Honda Civic Si has a 4-cylinder engine. I love it, partially because it comes with 3 pedals in terms of a manual transmission. But people buy a Mercedes, the pinnacle of German, well, I'd say Porsche, but nevertheless, a highly respectable German automotive brand. And AMG, you wind back the clock, hand-built, German engineering. There's something special about a premium luxury brand coming with what is slowly becoming, unfortunately, a more rare and rare occurrence of the internal combustion engine, and the V8. 4 cylinders is great, but 8 is great. It rhymes, therefore it must be true. But in all seriousness, it looks like they also had their E-Class and an upcoming E63 had an inline 6 engine with a plug-in hybrid setup. Now, again, it's one of those things where there's nothing inherently, well, depending on who you ask, I know who you ask, there's nothing inherently wrong with hybrids or smaller engines. A wise man much smarter than me once said there's a time and place for everything. And I think if, from the ground up, if Mercedes were to come out with a new product line, again, they name everything after numbers like BMW to make it complex, so you'll have to be an enthusiast to know the actual model numbers. But if they were to build one from the ground up that's originally a hybrid, which I think BMW is doing with a couple of their electric vehicles, there probably wouldn't be as much visceral backlash from the good old enthusiasts. Now, the good news is they're bringing back the V8 to specifically the models the C63 and the E63, both back by 2026. Now, it looks like it'll be a reinstitution of the M177 4-liter V8, which is actually, according to 2 independent sources. And of course, unfortunately, due to goal of the emissions and all that kind of stuff, they're actually in process of trying to have it modified so it'll meet the EU7 emission standards. Granted, one country produces more pollutants than all the other countries combined, but let's not focus on China. Let's focus on everyone else but them. But it is nice to see finally a brand listening to the consumers as people precipitously lost interest in those models and their sales hurt, of course. You saw this with the Mercedes. Very few people know the actual term for it, but it's pejoratively known, or just regularly known as the G-Wagon, which had a huge, I think it was 150% increase in sales for the V8 version, because they told people it was going to go down, I believe, an inline 6 or a 4-cylinder, which it's a big boxy SUV. It's an iconic part of the brand. It's been around for decades, originally made to be a military vehicle. Obviously, people want the V8. So people are paying a premium. Mercedes said they're going to go away with it. Interest dropped dramatically. And thankfully, they're going to be bringing a lot of the big toys back. So it'll be interesting to see how many other companies in the automotive community are going to listen to the consumers. You have General Motors, which again wants to be fully electric by 2035. That's according to the CEO, Mary Barra. They're turning the Camaro, an iconic American muscle car, into a 4-door EV sedan. No one is going to buy that. Oh, I take it back. The 18 people who work at General Motors will because they have the friends and family discount. But if you want a 4-door EV sedan, most people, realistically, they're going with the Tesla. If they want a performance car or one that's more tuned for performance, they probably get the Porsche Taycan, which has 4 doors, EV, and that was actually engineered so you can push that vehicle to the limit until the battery dies. It doesn't actually neuter the vehicle by pulling back on the power regardless of the percentage left in the battery, because Porsche wanted it to be made for people who actually want to drive. Now, granted, it's still not as good as having 3 pedals, but still an interesting use case, and hopefully more automotive companies will do what's right for the consumer, aka listen to the free market. But as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Also, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so I greatly appreciate you taking the time to click that subscribe button. Also, taking the time to like and comment, also greatly appreciate. It really helps the channel grow and develop as we try to make the content and production better and better. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your friends, heck, even tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.